go down in it because there was way too much snow, but it was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
It is wonderful. We had the privilege of actually getting a guide to take us down to Spider Woman Rock, and it's an amazing place. In fact, it was so dry down there, my contacts started drying out.
Ooh, yeah, that's not good.
No, no, and that was a spring visit.
Yeah, we stupidly drove through about well, a snowstorm to get there, and then when we got there, the snow was about a foot deep, and but we got a chance. Kids got to play, and we got some pretty good photographs, etc. Good morning, Gabe.
Good morning. Were you talking about uh, Grand Canyon?
Canyon de Chelly.
Oh,
Yeah.
Canyon de Chelly. Oh, yeah.
It wasn't too far. We were in Gallup at the time, and it wasn't too far from where we were in Gallup. So we figured, but we couldn't fly that day. It was too windy.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's good.
instead, I opted to drive in snow.
yeah, I'll bet that was beautiful.
It really was. It really was. Let's see
Well,
here.
that's
Okay.
good. There's another one.
Hey, good day, Bill.
Howdy, howdy.
I'll
Hello.
be right back, guys.
Okay. I'll wait a few more minutes here, a minute or so, and get started. I'm hoping Bob will come on, but we'll see.
Either he or Alan, he and Alan went down to Williams Hill, so they can speak to that directly.
Well, I think Ellen was gone.
No, no, I'm sorry, I misspoke.
Dave.
Dave,
Dave,
I was going
yeah.
to say Dave, yeah.
Yeah. Sounded like it was a good trip.
Yeah.
So, Liam, when you had gone to Canyon DJ also?
Yeah, we've been there a few times.
Oh, good.
We used to travel regularly through the 90s every fall, generally, but sometimes spring and fall. We would travel out into the deserts and camp out off-road.
Okay.
And of course, we'd try to take in some of the sites now and again when we were
Yeah.
close. And Canyon de Chelly was special because we'd been there a couple of times before. We'd walk through the canyon one evening with one of the guides, and then we had another um, morning hike through the canyon that includes Spider Woman Rock, and it's just it's just a really lovely place.
Oh, yeah. I've read a couple books about that whole area, uh, some of the historical stuff, but it was, let's see, I don't know how many years it was. It was about 5 or 6 years ago. A couple of cousins, I was in doing genealogy, and a couple of cousins had helped with finding our connection. We have a second and third great grandparents that were born on Hamish Pueblo
Oh, oh,
in New Mexico. So I my DNA says native, but I don't know what. It doesn't tell you what. So but we found a connection. So I went there 2 years ago to the reservation there, and then traveled around and checked out a lot of stuff that I've read about. So it was a nice trip. But I have
very
to go
good.
back. So well, I think we'll start going and go from there. The first thing, yeah, the first thing I have is about the repeater system. let's see, Bob had sent out a nice email about all the things that they took care of, and I guess everything's working fine then, right, Liam?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, most of it won't be noticeable by most users. The only change that most users might pick up is the change in ID.
Okay.
I've also been asked to go ahead and enable voice ID on the link radio because Alan is of the opinion that it would actually help some of the newer users down there know that there has been a change, since
Okay.
most folks aren't CW practitioners.
Okay.
So I'll do that, at some near opportunity.
Okay.
That shouldn't be too big a change on our controller.
Yeah.
And but otherwise, if the things that won't be noticed other than during power outages is the UPS that you purchased for that
Yeah.
purpose, which will provide a very good buffer.
Yeah.
And then are now plugged into the low power FM station, who granted them permission to get on their circuit, which is backed up by a generator.
Yeah.
So power outages down there shouldn't take out the repeater or the link.
Yeah. That's good. And now that's the generator is on propane, is that right?
Now that I don't know. That's a detail that Bob or
Yeah.
Bob Allen or Dave would probably know for sure.
Okay.
Um, but apparently it's at least been reliable,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
apparently the low power FM station doesn't go off the air.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Yeah. And the other thing now, you may know about this new feature that Bob had mentioned something about a new feature possibly activating a link on a URL or a link to the internet to where
Oh,
people could
a potential
monitor.
all-star link. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
the challenge is we've already used all the ports on the controller.
Okay.
So the standard port extender makes whatever device is extended a slave to the all-star side. So my challenge is to come up with a design for a switching system that will allow us to sidestep that particular limitation, because we don't want to become dependent on any other internet-related feature.
Yeah.
We're very much in favor of supporting internet-connected features. We just don't want it to become a requirement.
Yeah.
So I'm working out the scheme that will allow us to switch in the extender when we want to provide an all-star link into the system. But I also want to be able to switch back to RF pure when that's important.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Now, that part wouldn't work anyway if, let's say, the internet was down, right?
Well, right. That's why you don't want to become dependent on
On
the
that link.
all-star
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the way in which the port extenders work, that becomes a chain. And so I'm basically going to work out a switching system that will allow me to either connect in the port extender or connect the radio directly.
Okay.
Otherwise, the radio gets routed through the all-star port extender,
Okay.
and we want to avoid that if
Yeah.
the all-star unit fails, for example.
Right. Yeah.
The
Okay.
the other related feature is our permission to connect to the KSBW network will allow us an alternate connection to our controller, which again, we still have over-the-air capability through our, through either repeater and then our controller. But what we would like to have as well is an internet connection to our port input, which is the RS-232 serial port, not the radio ports. There's three
Yeah.
radio ports and two serial ports. A recent upgrade in firmware for the controller finally allowed us to use the second port for example, to control things. So that may be the way in which I control the switching system. But the terminal input that I usually plug into when we go up the hill to enable things or load up new software, if we have that connected over the internet, then we have an alternate way to actually talk to the controller. So that's a separate but related feature. That is, the ability to have the connection to KSBW's network allows for both the all-star connection scheme as well as a potential alternate connection for the controller,
Okay.
for controlling the controller.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That sounds good. Well, that'll keep you busy.
I'm having no trouble with that, unfortunately. I've got
Okay.
numbers at N6IJ too, related to the remote
Oh, okay.
device and another antenna, and yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
And I have two vehicles I have to rebuild, so I have transportation again. So yeah,
Oh, no.
yeah. I lost the transmission in the van again.
Oh, no.
The shift linkage failure on my way to the celebration of life for John Foster, unfortunately, triggered an internal error in the transmission. I have to pull it down and plan out its rebuild, I think.
Oh, boy. Boy, boy. All righty. Let's see. What do I have? Okay, so I sent a report yesterday to uh, Monterey County Department of Emergency Management. And so I think I sent them a message in May, giving them an update of what we've been doing and all that stuff. And so didn't hear back. So I sent one out since all these changes. Then I've sent out another update to them yesterday. And I think the May one, I just sent it to Justin. This one I sent to going over all the updates of the repeater down in Williams Hill and all the changes and things. And then, so then I sent it to Justin. I sent it to Kelsey, the director. And also I sent it to Matt Smith, who is the emergency manager down at Fort Hunter Liggett. And so that he would know all the updates coming on too. So we'll see if I get a response. I asked him to respond at the end, so hopefully that'll get some feedback, especially on the new feature if they're interested in that or not.
I'd be willing to bet that they don't have anybody in the office that understands anything of what you're talking about. That's why
Yeah,
you're not getting a
exactly.
response.
So I
And
try to explain it a little bit further because I mentioned something about NARC, and so I put a little piece in there about what NARC is and what they do, and also I hadn't mentioned in there that we participated in Field Day, so I took a blurb from ARRL website and added that in there so they knew what Field Day was about, and then said that we had people that participated. So try to keep things going. So the next thing I have is so since the changes, then I thought, oh yeah, I need to update the band plan then, change the call for KC6 ERT and switch that over. And then when I sent out the first revision, Kat Patel noticed that the WinLink for K6BJ 10, the WinLink 10,
Oh, yes.
the frequency had changed. So I changed that too and sent out another update. So
Oh, that's why I couldn't connect to it.
yeah, version 3 is all updated so far. So as far as I know. So So and then I thought, oh, I better, somebody had asked about the CSV file, so I did all three, PDF and image. So, uh, so that's done. Let's see that. The other thing I was looking at is testing. It looks like Hollister, San Benito County, they had their last testing was in May, so they probably won't have one for a couple months or so. And so that's all our only source. I know they were talking about it for Embara starting to do that, but I don't think they're ready yet.
Well, the other limitation is that the city doesn't want us to what they call occupy the building.
Oh,
So
okay.
having in-person testing, while desirable, probably won't happen. Now maybe we could do something like work with you about getting the site over at CSUMB.
Oh, yeah, that would be no problem.
We could do stuff like that.
Yeah. And
And
that's a prime spot too.
yeah,
So as long as people can find it.
right.
That's
I mean, those are all things to be solved, but
yeah,
so part of it is just getting all of the current VECs, you know, in a community, and then figure out how we want to proceed.
yeah.
Um,
And figure out all the paperwork and all that stuff.
right, yeah, because I certainly don't know it off the top of my head. So,
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, that's good. And then the other thing I was looking at is other kind of training that we could partake in. There's been several videos I've been looking at and kind of saving them for that deal with just EOC operations and basic stuff, that type of thing, and some other things, other WinLink kind of uh, operations. And I know, Liam, have you been still doing
I, I,
the web, I mean the WinLink exercises?
I still check in with some nets. I haven't been doing the exercises mainly
Okay.
for lack of cycles, but
Yeah.
uh, it would be a good, would be a good thing to kind of work towards getting more members of the current Monterey County CERT to maybe even just check in
Hmm.
to the various nets that already exist, and then we can start upping the game with what the types of things that would actually be necessary.
Yeah.
Um, including things like message passing. There's a auxiliary thing that's showing up now in Ambara, which is, of course, some interest in maybe trying to get more Mars operators.
Yeah.
And some of these skills are overlap. It's like
Right.
message passing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We could start practicing those kinds of things at a low level, and then as the skill um, becomes more natural, then we can start upping the bar on that.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. So I've been kind of keeping my eyes open on various things that we could
Yeah,
play
I
with.
think if you start making a list of those videos that you're collecting,
Hmm.
that would probably actually we could probably start, introducing that, say even through the email reflector. Here, we recommend you try this, and we're going to try this element on this next net, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, one of
Good.
the things we might, keep taking a look at Santa Clara's too,
Okay.
Santa Clara
Yeah.
County, because they've redone their entire webpage. It's easier to find stuff, and a lot of the training materials are up there and loaded. I mean, when I was doing the training, we pushed out that they were willing to share anything, basically. And they
Yeah.
have gone to some videos for a lot of the introductory courses and the rest of it. And I'm I'm involved in a planning of an exercise in September. And one of the biggest challenges they have is trying to get CERT to work with ARES races, because it's going to
Yeah.
happen. There's not enough ham radio operators to if you set your areas up into zones to communicate, so it's going to do the real grunt work in collecting information that needs to be passed, etc.
Yeah.
Um, so we've, I happen to be lucky that here in Gilroy, the emergency manager is also heavily connected with CERT as well as I am trying to get a communications exercise and training them how to actually talk on the radio. Message passing is the biggest problem. I mean, even getting them, you know, to pick up a radio and understand what message passing is all about,
Yeah.
the types of things that they need. Uh, so I'm working on that. My problem is not a strong leadership, certain leadership right now,
Okay.
other than the emergency manager.
Yeah.
So, but we're willing to share anything you got. We have with you. So I say check Santa Clara County. I'm learning more and more about what they are doing. I've stepped away from it for quite a few years because I just didn't have the bandwidth.
Yeah.
So if I find stuff, I'll send it to you for
Okay. Sounds good.
consideration.
Well, that message passing class you taught us way back, that was very helpful. And
I'm
so,
willing to teach anything that I have originally taught. I'm willing to do it again. I mean, I may
yeah,
be in a different county, but
right.
you guys we're just one step above where you guys are in terms of support, like Santa Clara County, in terms
Yeah,
of they support the ARES program significantly, but I think their mission is a little bit different, and you guys don't even have that kind of feedback or support from
yeah,
Monterey County.
yeah,
So you need to just go out on your own, do what you need to do, and be
yeah,
ready when they call,
yeah,
because they're not going to understand it until they need it,
right.
you know,
It's
it's
exactly.
going to be, and then it's going to be groundswell.
Yeah,
Um, Wanted to pass on one other thing. You talk about training and the rest of it. I mean, we use Tim and Heatherly all the
yeah,
time.
right.
They switch between San Benito when they come up to Gilroy because I host them at the police department because we have a
Okay.
large enough community room and it's available and I have free and clear access to it.
Yeah,
So it's not a problem. Um, but I did a mass mailing. I reached out to every active ham radio operator in Gilroy just to see what kind of response I get for people stepping up to emergency communications.
yeah,
And as expected, it's around 5%.
yeah,
That's all
yeah,
I heard back. We have 204 licensed active hams and of all various skill levels. And I only got 5% of them to respond to the card mailing. I'm reaching out to those now. I mean, it's better than what I had. I only had 4 people uh, inside the city's EOC.
yeah.
So now I might be able to staff a second operational period. But
Right.
we also have a hospital to cover. How do that's the other
Yeah,
question I had. How does public health expect to communicate with the hospitals that you have when, overused phrase, when everything goes down?
yeah.
I mean, you have
Well,
no internet, you have no internet. They may be on backup generators, blah,
right.
blah, blah. I mean, that's something we practice all the time up here.
Yeah. Well, fortunately I was able to visit Salinas Valley Memorial Hospital over there, and they got a new emergency coordinator on staff, and so I met their staff, and they had 4 people that were licensed hams, but they don't even own a handheld or anything. So I told them that's the first thing to do, and just do a simplex and talk amongst yourselves just to get some practice.
Right.
And but I went in and installed one of the radios that they had that John Greathouse had purchased for him, uh, the Yaesu 400. And so I installed that and added all the current band plan at the time. And then I talked to him about how we're focusing on WinLink, and then one of their IT guys had the laptop that John had bought too, and had WinLink on there. So I just kind of made them aware, and they're welcome to join our nets when they want to, and all that kind of thing. So And then I was in contact with, they got a new emergency coordinator down in at Me Memorial, and then she was asking me where the radio was. So then I've never been down there. Um, so then I sent an email to John Greathouse, and then he was able to tell me, oh, she needs to contact he's the operations manager or whatever. He knows where everything is and knows all of everything that she needs to do. So
Right.
I haven't heard from her since. So she was able to contact him, and so
Well, the reason I asked, I mean, we have 12 hospitals up here.
yeah,
You want to talk about a giant cluster.
yeah,
Um, when they're all trying to talk to public health and public health isn't up, or they have to go through our emergency operations center at the county level to
yeah,
the public health representative there. And we just had an exercise about 2 months ago when we found out just how dysfunctional they are. But public health is heavily involved. That's why I was wondering how if the hospitals have any kind of communications plan, not well, public health has any kind of communications plan with the hospitals when everything goes down.
yeah,
And I think the answer is no right now because John was that point of contact, and I don't
yeah.
think they have anybody to replace him.
Well, they had
Uh,
two people in there, which I met. Um, I met him at, um, it was at when we were at Del Monte Shopping Center. They have their emergency preparedness fair over there
right.
that the hospital puts on. And so they had a booth right by us. So I walked over there and introduced myself, and so we got in touch, and then we were then passing emails and stuff. And now I think one of them may have changed because I got an email from another person uh, that was asking about they're setting up they want to add a, I guess they got some grant money to add a radio in another uh, patient facility, a care facility that's off site from the hospitals. And so I told them, yeah, I'd be willing to help them out with any of that stuff. And
Yeah.
so they're
Well,
trying to figure out, I kind of told them what they might need and this type of stuff. And so they they're going to get back with me and stuff on what they're how they're going to set things up and stuff. So
yeah. Well, unfortunately, it sounds the same as it did when I was there.
yeah,
There is lack of any type of overall coordination
yeah,
with and there needs to be plans.
right,
That's the big thing. The biggest problem we run into, whether here at the Gilroy level or at the county level, is for every year that goes by, if you have five contacts, one of them they're going to move on to do something else,
right,
retire, whatever, and you're
yeah,
constantly changing out people on that government
right,
level.
yeah,
And so, okay. Just wondering. I mean, I still have a love of Monterey County, even though I'm not there.
yeah,
It's I was trying to push it in a direction. We were making progress, but
yeah,
you know, once certain people moved in after I left, it kind of shot everything down. So
yeah. So another thing that happened over there is that oh, I forget his name now. That the original radio shop manager, uh,
yeah, Steve.
yeah, he left, and so we had another guy on the IT department uh, move into that position, and I helped hire him at IT, so I know him very well, and so that's kind of an in for me at this point,
Boy, IT
having that
moving to radio,
connection.
that's kind of frightening.
Yeah,
It really is. And Jeff would have been a good person to put into that position, but I
oh
know he didn't
yeah,
want it.
right.
So
Yeah,
yeah, that's when Steve was there. He was part of making the progress that we were making because he was helping us with a lot of the stuff. The communications
yeah.
were on the roof and the rest of it. But has anybody been into the radio room or what is left wherever they moved it to in that building?
No,
Because my feeling is everything I've heard about the move that they did, they haphazardly just move crap.
Yeah.
and they don't know what they're doing for,
Yeah.
disconnecting antenna drops and the rest of it. And I have a feeling you better be prepared to survive outside the EOC, because anything inside of it is probably going to be pretty worthless
I
at this point.
did mention that to him. We
And the
are
fact that it's not,
prepared to work outside
and
if
you
need
can't
be.
even get into their parking lot now because it's gated.
Oh, really? I haven't
Yeah,
been out.
they finally put that entire facility, 911 facility and DEM, it has now got a fairly beefy security fence around it, which was
Wow.
something we tried to do 10 years ago because
Yeah.
the UASI came in and evaluated and says, I can drive my semi truck through your building
Yeah.
coming off
Yeah.
Natividad. So they
Yeah.
finally put it in.
Oh,
They've
good.
got considerable protection, so you don't even have access to the parking lot, um, at least without some type of badging or permissions from them
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
passkey.
Yeah. They had a pass key. Well, the fence, they had a gate on the back parking lot on the lower side. And
Right. Now it goes
so
all the way around. It's
no,
all the way
that's
around,
good.
all the way up, even up along Natividad, etc. I've seen pictures of it.
Well, that's good.
But I have a feeling your equipment that was in there that we purchased on grant money,
Right.
kind of like the repeater that I purchased, um, is probably sitting in a box.
Yeah. Well,
So,
some of that was, well, I know that Jeff and let's see, Brian Landacre, I was at a meeting with them over there about when they moved the coax from the radio room over into where the storeroom is, what used to be, because that storeroom, they were changing it into a conference room for the
they
logistics.
yeah, it is. It is their logistics conference room now. So God knows where all that stuff
Yeah,
is. But
so
like
they
I say,
put
it's
the
probably in a
drops in
box.
there, and I don't know if they were putting the drops right over where the uh, the server rack was, or whatever. I thought, well, that might be a issue with the HF radio, maybe. I don't know. But I asked them about being able to come over and test our radios with it, but nothing.
Yeah. Well, we won't get into my opinions. Um, but I have, that's something you need to keep pushing strongly.
Yeah,
And their director doesn't understand the need. So they're too reliant on what everybody's telling them in terms of having, everybody carries satellite phones, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et
yeah,
cetera. So
yeah,
it's, and having lived the first two cable cuts here, I understand what it's like to be, if you've ever lost a child in a large crowd, panic feeling, that's
yeah,
kind of what comes over you when you actually all of a sudden have absolutely no way to talk to anybody.
yeah.
And I stupidly, when we had the first cable cut, I picked up the fire chief walked in and said, "I need to send this message to county. Can you get a hold of him?" And I picked up the phone, and everybody in the AOC started laughing because it was just instinct.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
shit, this don't work, does it? And then we found
Right.
out our radios didn't work. We had brand new installed radios, and the contractor dropped the cable, mislabeled the cables.
Oh
So I was
boy.
trying to push 2 meter over 440 and 440 over 2 meter.
Oh
The only
man.
thing, the only thing that actually worked was an old 2 meter on top of the roof.
Okay.
But you really find out when all hell breaks loose that
Yeah.
the panic that's in you is like, oh shit. The best thing that
Yeah.
worked for us was our pack.
Yeah.
That was reliable because we've been practicing and playing with that for years.
Yeah.
And so anyway, you need to get back in there. You really do. I can't emphasize that as strongly enough.
Yeah.
And that's based on my experience,
Yeah.
as both emergency communications and
Yeah.
emergency planner.
What
Well,
what's
one
what's pack?
Packet.
Oh, packet.
packet.
It's the
Okay,
it's
yeah,
Yeah.
the
yeah,
old
yeah.
the old style
Okay.
packet, but
Yeah,
Santa Clara County relies very heavily on it. In fact, we've actually gone through the first generation, i.e., about 10 years of replacing all of our computers, all the nodes, everything. And but the nice thing about it is it's also gateway. It's got its own amper gate, so we can go send email. We can do whatever we want through it, and the forms that we have. That's why I asked about the hospitals. it was based around the hospital's needs, is how we
Yeah.
created it. So when the hospital needs to do checks, situation status or their patient load status, those kinds of things, we already have forms ready to go. And
Yeah.
the people in the EOC just fill them out and we just send it.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the cool things that Jim Oberhofer, who wrote Outpost, he's still kicking and helping us. He's now made it so that we can actually put the packet software on any computer in the EOC so they can fill out the form themselves. We're not transcribing it. They fill out the form themselves, and when they hit send, it sends it into the radio room. We receive it. We just make sure it's addressed properly and hit send, and it's gone.
Yeah.
And the packet and the outpost software itself is auto tracking. So it's auto logging, auto tracking, it assigns a tracking number to it. You never lose a message. You always have a number that you can go back to.
Yeah.
Go up into Santa Clara County's ARES RACE's website, and it talks quite a bit about the packet network that we have in place, all the form support. We've got like 9 or 10 forms now that we use for support of EOC, but again, it was originally aimed at the hospitals.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to spell a frickin' drug name that's this long.
Right.
Because you change a character and all of a sudden you change the
Yeah.
drug or something.
Right.
So that's why we came up with packet, and you can send it. I mean, the message you can send it or 213, or you can send plain text. It's everybody goes, well, it's slow. You're only operating, X bad bandwidth. We go, yeah, but guess what? It goes in 30 seconds. The same message form trying to pass on voice would take you 5 minutes,
Yeah.
particularly if you get complicated words in it and the rest of it. So
Yeah.
for us, it's been a godsend.
Yeah.
And during this last exercise, St. Louis, which is now a county hospital, they failed miserably.
Yeah.
I sent them they knew I was down. My packet system was down. I couldn't print out on it, and because it's a brand new county laptop, which was another thing. Nobody knew it wouldn't work, and so I finally got the message printed, handed it to them. They went and they only answered half it and brought it back. And then the next message they wanted to send came on a piece of yellow paper with they didn't know who they were sending it to, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I did.
Mhm.
I mean, I used to do this for a living. And so it was a giant cluster, but they learned a lot from it. But the packet system, once I got it up and operating, it was phenomenal. It just went.
Now, how does that compare with WinLink?
I could actually speak to that because I've actually exercised with the Santa Clara group. So the Outpost is basically a BBS type system generally. It's just as quick as far as transmission, and you can route through different units as well. In fact, one of the exercises was from any location, you basically had 2 sites that you could communicate with. And then they would temporarily say, this site's not available, so you have to use the other route. And I was able to use the repeater up on Mount Umanum to get back into Santa Clara County. Some of that has changed since then, and I haven't been on for a while, but it is very, very similar to WinLink, both in terms of the forms, the presentation, the general operation. Although they're 2 different applications managed by 2 different people, the general designs are very similar.
The packet system we have is on county hardened sites,
Yeah.
so we know those are going to stay up. Those 4 nodes, you're right, and each of us can reach 2. I can actually reach 3 because I got a tower standing in my backyard, or at the EOC. I'm at 75 feet. I'm taller than anything in the city, and I've got Yagis that I can swing around. But yeah, the packet system. I'm not that familiar with WinLink, but at least with the packet system, the message we send doesn't send any of the format or anything else. It strips out all the ASCII characters, and that's all you're sending, and then it's reformulated on the other end.
Or
Yeah.
WinLink does that too.
Yeah.
Okay, and yeah, to save bandwidth and time.
Yeah.
And it's been bulletproof for us for the most part. And it's just something we got all 12 hospitals using them, and it's being driven by county public health. They want that system to work because they want the information.
I met during field day, I met a fellow that just moved to our area, and he's essentially took Michael Fox's place, kind of taken over
You,
the network
you
up
talk
there.
about Andreas?
Is that who I didn't get his name or a call sign? So
Andreas
Andreas?
Ott, K6OTT, I think is who you're referring to.
Yes.
He is our technical guru responsible for the packet system, and I knew he was moving. I didn't know he'd done it yet.
Yeah, he moved to Marina in some of our new houses.
Yeah,
And
he's still working here heavily.
yes. And so and he was talking about then he was asking me if we got the new or if we're plugged into the share system. And I said, no, we kind of dropped the ball. It was before I became the DEC and stuff. And so we didn't take advantage of the grant that they had, the state had for getting, you essentially get a military grade HF radio through this grant from the state. And then you get plugged into the share system, which is the state. They're trying to get all the counties connected, and it feeds you right into the federal system.
Yeah, Santa Clara County has really exercised that. Um, and Andreas, I think, has played a big part in that. Monterey County was one of the counties that failed to move.
Yeah, and so because I think it was in the like in I think it was February earlier this year. Humboldt County was doing an exercise based on it was primarily for the share system, and I told them we didn't, have that with Monterey County, but they were trying to get everybody to go in whatever way they could to participate, and it was a little bit too much over my head to keep things going. But I tried to gather as much information as I could. I at least got a contact to the state who to contact about this shares program, and I sent that on to the county, but I don't think they
Yeah,
contacted
well,
them.
we did. You're flogging the dead horse, and now
Right.
that's one that until there's a change in leadership there,
Yeah.
I don't think anything's going to happen. In fact, I'm looking. I think we have a really good explanation as to what the shares program is. I'm hunting through the county's website right now here.
Yeah, and there's several
Anyway,
YouTube videos. That's one of the other YouTube videos that explain what that's all about. I think Rat Pack and there was somebody else that
Oh yeah.
they were they were doing videos about it. The other nice thing is that at least Monterey CERT, they have their own repeater over there and they exercise that. They usually have a net once a month that, and Billy, have you been a part of that?
Yeah. So is Liam, by the way. But yeah.
Yeah. So I get on there every once in a while just to listen in and see what they're up to. So, uh, but yeah, that seems to be a good idea.
well, I just dropped in the link from Santa Clara County,
Hmm.
their shares, the explanation of the program.
Okay, great. So, so that's all I've got at this point. Anybody else have any questions or?
Yeah, I've got a topic I'd like to bring up.
Okay,
The July issue of QST has this really interesting article, starting on page 61, a case for standardizing MCOM training. And I got a couple of new things out of it. One of them was that these guys are recommending Oxcom as a standard training.
yeah,
But they also talk about something called the PACE model, which I hadn't heard
yes,
of before.
yeah, that's a
Uh,
military.
and and there's what it is there's four levels, and the
Yeah,
letters P, A, C, and E are an abbreviation for each of these four levels, and we are essentially at the third level,
yeah,
um, where all of the standard communication systems of the um, government agencies are down or whatever agencies we're working with, and we're the backup. And then the final level is carrier pigeon.
Yeah.
Uh, but a couple of things came out of it for me. A couple of questions. First of all, they don't actually make a specific recommendation. They're recommending models. They're not recommending action.
Yeah.
Um, so that was frustrating. And the second, so and that raised the question in my mind: have I taken the right Oxcom training? I think I've taken some Oxcom training, but I'm not sure.
Well,
Um,
yeah,
but
there's a Oxcom training that comes from actually the state was doing it during this grant program to essentially educate the operators. And so I think it's like a week, or I'm not sure. It's pretty extensive because it gets into how you because you end up with the shares program, you end up getting special call signs that you're essentially the agency, which would be the county DEM, would get a set of call signs depending on who's going to use them and all that stuff. So you'd have some backups for in there for as you need them that you can use those. But you essentially use that your call sign is special to that system. And so that gets you in the door when you send a message, it'll pass that along. And if it needs to go to the feds, it once it hits their servers, it's all encrypted. And so and they're using WinLink for doing all that. And so uh, so WinLink has, or the shares has WinLink built into it to where it utilizes all the federal features essentially. And so, and that's one thing that I was talking with Andreas about. Uh, he was saying how they were doing an exercise and there was not enough room in Santa Clara where they were holding it. So he had just moved to Marina. So he grabbed their mobile station and went to Marina Beach and operated from Marina Beach and was able to connect in and be a part of the exercise. So using their shares system, radio. And so I've been trying to learn as much as I can about that whole setup, but a lot of it is based on this Oxcom training. And that's essentially it. And FEMA has in their newer kind of their organization chart where it used to have RACES. Well, the state had changed it to auxiliary communications service, and then later on, now it's become Oxcom because of the federal level. So because of FEMA, so it's essentially the same thing, but they've got new tools that they're using. But yeah, I'm just keep plugging away and trying to figure out how we can get a hold of this training and go from there.
Yeah, I got a chance to participate at the state level in the first Oxcom training they had, and it was taught by, oh God, an organization out of Hawaii. Can't
Oh,
remember
okay.
the
Yeah.
yeah, there's a they teach at the federal level and state levels,
Yeah. I
and
had some of their training for social media. I think it was
yeah,
when you were there.
well,
Yeah.
there was that. The auxiliary communications was when the state was first starting to roll it out,
Okay.
and it was 3 days
Yeah.
of training. We were up at not in Sacramento, but wherever the hell OES is now for the state. Uh, but it was a great first, and it's grown a lot since then, particularly since FEMA's got involved. But right now, with the dysfunction of FEMA, and the loss of tremendous amount of people that
Oh,
have all the
yeah.
working knowledge that makes FEMA work,
Yeah.
particularly on the communication side, et cetera. Yeah, well, keep pushing the direction you guys are going. You need, get people trained, period. No matter how you get them trained, you can always move them over. But
Right.
you're, again, the biggest loss you've got is not having the county directly involved in what you guys are doing.
Yeah. Yeah. All righty.
Because one,
Any,
they can provide the impetus, the mission, as well as the money.
yeah. Yeah. Anybody else have any questions? Hi, Mark. Um, that's all I have at this point. So,
Gail, I think I interrupted you on your band plan. I think the last I saw from you was what, your third rev?
yes, that's it.
Okay, that's the current one.
Yeah,
Okay.
so far. The year's not over yet. So, but yeah, that's all I have at this point. And so we'll just keep going. And yeah, and I'll look at I'll put together a list of different training things that we might want to check out. And there was a couple things that, especially on the Oxcom, there's one that's really good that it's about an hour long, and but it kind of covers all the little bits of what the whole thing is about, and so um, it's very, very enlightening. So
One of the things I'll share with you, Gail, too, when I get it done, is the training plan. Well, actually, I said that we did this mass mailing, and the idea was how do we bring all these people in from the absolute beginner? And I've got some of those who literally have got my ticket, and now what do I do with it?
right,
All the way up to people that are extremely experienced on HF, et cetera, who say, okay, I'll come play. So I created a tiered system by which we bring the people in and we measure their skills. And what I'm working to finishing is the task books that we have for each of these positions. We actually have 4 levels, and I added the 0 level, which was the SUVs to bring in because
okay,
we didn't quite know how to handle them.
yeah,
Uh, the county did away with our emergency volunteer system, which would have routed them our way when
mm,
crap hits the fan. Um, so I've been a strong advocate of pushing for that since I retired and bringing that program back. And I think I'm actually winning some inroads. But
oh, good,
the level system is nice. I mean, it goes, I say, way from inexperienced, what courses and classes they need to have and
yeah,
train in, all the way up to the experienced ones that who could literally jump into the EOC, get it up and flying, etc.,
yeah,
without anybody else being there.
yeah,
So once I complete that, I got to have it done before the end of the summer. Uh,
okay,
as we're bringing these people in, I got to have something in place that they can go, oh, where am I?
that's right, yeah,
Level 3, 2, 1, or are you a 0 for us?
yeah,
But and that's the way to handle it because if we bring people in, we throw them into the heavy end of it, they just balk and say, no, can't do it. So
yeah,
this is my attempt, and I took it from a couple places back east that
yeah,
said, okay, we give up trying to bring in all these people. We can't get people interested, so let's bring them at the level they want to come in.
yeah,
And we'll at least have them. We'll have all the information. We'll know what their equipment is. We'll know what their skill level is, etc.
yeah, yeah,
So we'll do what we got to do. And one of the battles I have with Santa Clara County is that they're training through what used to be their MAC program.
yeah,
Um, they're training all these highly skilled operators that are in all the cities. So when the cities activate and the county activates, county's not going to have a whole lot of people, but they're
y-
training these people that are perfect. And I said, all I need is an operator in a room to be the control operator, and I'll throw whatever person I have to and butts in the seat and put them in front of the radio,
yeah,
and it'll be training on the fly. And they're
yeah,
going, well, we can't do that. And I said, well, if you're going to reject a message, voice or packet or whatever coming from us because it doesn't have every T crossed and I dotted, I said, you're going to be in deep shit because
yeah,
they're going to be screaming for information and I'm going to be pushing information towards you and you're going to go, no, it's not right. And I'm going to go, dude, I'm going to
yeah,
bypass you. So that's the battle we're having. And I haven't even come close to winning that one,
yeah,
saying that you need to build your training and all your practicing around the lowest common denominator, which is somebody that maybe has a radio, knows how to use it, afraid to get in front of it when the pressure's on and pass information, etc. But they're going to make all the mistakes, but can't
Yeah.
ignore them.
Yeah.
Because when the shit hits the fan, all those licensed operators are going to come out of the woodwork.
Oh, yeah.
And it's gonna be, I can help you. And the instant you turn them down and say, well, we'll get back to you, they're going to go, I'm gone. I ain't
Yeah.
going to help you.
Yeah.
And, you go, my anticipation is we're going to need to stand for at least a week. So 7 operational periods or 7 days of operational periods for
Yeah.
people. And that's what I have to build in place. I mean, we may burn out the people that are in the radio room. The radio supervisor or whatever. I mean, I can only get 4 people in my radio room. That's it.
Yeah.
I've got a packet station, 2 other freestanding radios, um, and a desk that whoever is the EOC radio, et cetera, is on. And that's the other thing that scared me about Monterey is the fact that none of the other there are cities in Monterey County that don't even have a foggiest idea what an EOC radio is. They may have had it 20 years ago. It's
Right.
gone. It's been pulled. If
Yeah.
they're lucky, the antenna may still be on the building.
Yeah.
But at least up here, I'm comfortable that I can talk to any of the EOCs if I have to on a primary radio system that I know works.
Yeah.
And there's a backup handheld to it at the county level. So we've really been pushing to try and keep the hospitals connected, all the EOCs connected,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. And that's, Monterey is way behind everybody else in
Yeah.
that respect. So it's frightening. Be prepared, you guys yourselves, to be able to go in and say, okay, here's what we have.
Yeah.
And Andreas is a good resource for you. I mean,
Good.
if you've got his contact information, if you don't, I can send it to you. I've got his phone number and everything.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
All right, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
I say he hadn't told me that he'd moved. I knew he was talking about it.
Yeah.
We've got a hook, line, and sinker in him because he's running because there's nobody else to step up behind him.
Yeah.
He has his technical skill level.
Yeah.
So after Michael Fox left,
And so, I was talking with him, and he's really gung ho about the share system too. So, so that might be our in for down here.
See if you can get him in the meeting.
Yeah.
That might be a draw to get more people in your meeting too.
Yeah. And he was apologizing to me for not coming on to the meetings. And so, because he's in our Groups IO email reflector. So, yeah. Send me his info and I'll get in touch with him.
Reach out to him. Just tell him a little bird gave it to you.
Yeah. Yeah. All righty.
I may send him a message and go, hey, I'm giving you contact information to Gail, so just FYI.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll do that. I'll do both. I will send you his information in an email, copy him. So he's aware of it. But
okay,
again,
good.
The fact that he moved, he didn't tell me.
Yeah. 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 So, okay, that's all I have. Any other questions or comments or additions?
One quick question to Pat.
Okay.
On your postcard mail out, how many came back with the wrong address?
Actually, nothing. We've not had them.
Wow.
We took a different route. So I let me paraphrase that or clarify that. We had the printer mail them, but we provided the database information.
Okay.
So I need to go back to the printer and find out how many may have come back to them, although I think they used our return address. So let me ask the emergency manager. Pretty certain. I mean, I've been staying on top of. I updated the database. It's a pain in the ass to do it. You think they'd have one button you could push and print it out as an Excel spreadsheet. They don't. They're that far behind in their technology, or at least IT technology. But I was doing it every quarter.
Oh, okay.
Because the postcard got hung up by the HR manager. Our HR manager has a phobia, thinking that if we imply anything that says, "Oh, they're a working employee for the city," that the city could get its ass sued. I mean, she's still reeling from the 2019 mass shootings at Garlic Festival. So
Yeah,
we won't go there. but she held it up for 6 months on one word. And finally, we kept pushing. I kept pushing the emergency manager, and I kept pushing. And I'm not her favorite person because I know more than she does about emergency management. Uh, she finally let it go with the word. I did the original wording. They came back and said it wasn't right. We changed it. And so the whole process has been about a year, but we finally got it out there. And I'll find out. That's a good question. Um,
The reason I asked
we
that is that we did Alan, I should say, Alan King, K06GAT, had done a postcard mailing to get interest for the field day. And we had, I think, upwards of possibly 50 returns that were addresses were no longer valid for
Wow.
for the database taken from the FCC, ostensibly.
Well, the one thing that I have an advantage of is we use Ham Club Online
Oh, yes.
for our club, and we have over 100 members in it. Over 50, 50 of them are paying members. But we add anybody that wants to be in it, we all, have them come in. So when I did the FCC database, I did it against Ham Club Online as well to verify that I had correct emails for folks
Ah, ah,
because we do the renewal notices and information update goes out every year automatically through Ham Club Online. We created that way, we set it up that way, so it's automatic. So we've got a pretty good handle on who is what, and we have a significant involvement of hams. I mean, we have a monthly breakfast, and we get turnout anywhere from 15 to 20
oh,
of the
oh,
hams
oh.
that show up uh, at one of our local restaurants, West Side Grill here in Gilroy. And they're the only one we could find with the room that they wouldn't charge us for.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that was the biggest thing. I mean, we couldn't after COVID, we couldn't find anybody that had well, we lost a number of the restaurants that had large meeting areas.
Yeah.
Um, this is part of the restaurant, but we were there at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning when they first opened the doors, and we're out of there by 10:15, 10:30 before they really start to get the big crowds. So they said, fine, they push us to the back of the restaurant against the wall with windows on it, and we set up this one big ass long table. And as people come in, we grab more tables if we need them. So
Yeah.
we've had as many as 24
Wow.
post-COVID. Pre-COVID, we're averaging upwards of around 30.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, but we get a lot of the techies are in there, a lot of the people that are gung ho on HF that do things that have all that information. Tim and Heatherly are part of it.
Yeah.
Um, so that in itself, we're pretty well dialed in on where people are, whether they're coming or not. But I'll ask the printer if they got anything back, and I'll ask our emergency manager if he's heard too. Um, but we figured we'd only get 5 to 10% of the people responding.
Oh, okay.
And if shit hits the fan, we're probably going to get closer to 50 of them coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but we're moving towards trying to handle that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
and the other problem we're having here is they're in the planning stage right now, building a new civic center for the city.
Uh,
And so everything with the exception of the police department and the library, if you've ever seen Gilroy's complex, is going to be scraped clean, which includes the annex, which is where our EOC is,
uh,
including my 95-foot tower that's
Oh
out there.
man.
And that tower is enabled, it was part of a South Valley regional communication system that is now defunct. But I got two Yagis sitting at 75 feet that I can swing. Let's see, the 440 I can swing completely around 360 if I needed to. The
hmm.
2 meter I bump into the tower, so I've only got about a 310-degree swing on it. But I can swing it around, and I've got enough. If I go full power, I can talk all the way into San Benito County without a
Oh,
problem. I can push it into Monterey, um, and right now I can actually push it well beyond. I can actually get up to Alameda and everything else if I needed
wow.
to.
Okay.
Wow.
So I'm going to lose that.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So in 3 years, when they start to build, uh, I've told them they need to put another tower in place, and they're not listening to me, and they're not listening to my emergency manager. So I'm actually actively investigating a crank up tower on a trailer. One of our hams, Razek, acquired one that's a 100-foot tower,
Wow.
And so I'm looking for something very similar that if we had to, we could just literally just stand it beside the building, crank it up. And if we have to drag the cables in ourselves, that's fine. But we may lose. Our emergency operations center is going to be completely disconnected from our public safety communications. Right now, we share behind our EOC is command and control room. It
Oh,
has all of our public safety radios and everything else. All my antenna drops run through that room, etc. So I'm co-located with every bit of radio communications in the city. And the tower was principally a public safety tower. Um, and it does. It's got four antennas, four sticks on top of it that are all public safety. And everything I've got is in the cone of silence below it. That's why they don't interfere with me. When they originally did, they were overpowering my radios. They're just blowing us off
oh,
the air.
yeah.
We have since resolved all those issues. But yeah, I'm going to lose that. They're going to move that somewhere else, probably closer to the PD and actually the dispatch center. And our
Yeah.
EOC is going to be away from there, which is where the radio room is supposed to be, and they will not probably pull fiber for me. So it's going to be interesting to see what they end up with. But that's why I'm saying in the meantime, we just need a crank up tower. If I have to go stick it in the park, I'll stick it in the park. I don't care.
Yeah.
But we've also got, we've really pushed with satellite communications. We have three handheld sat phones that they use. We've also got two
Hmm.
geostationary sat phones that I installed the antennas for them on top of the roof. Those are nice because they're solid. They just don't go anywhere. Those are the ones you see on the cars. A lot of times that are mounted the big white domes that are on top that are about
Yeah.
a foot in diameter, about 8 inches tall. Yeah, they're stuck down. There's 3 feet, and each foot has 9 rare earth magnets on it. Once you get it stuck on a steel roof, forget it. You don't get it off. You literally need to pry it off the roof. I know I did in Santa Clara when I put one up there, and I actually fell on my ass when I finally got it to break loose. And I was standing on the bumper of a Tahoe when I did it. But those things are designed to stay on the roof at 120 miles an hour because that's why they work on cop cars.
Yeah.
But so we've got the sat phones. As far as CERT goes, we're still principally FRS, GMRS down here. We haven't moved anything to MERS or anything like that. And so we're training with them. We've got a cache of well over 100 FRS radios, and we're just starting to build at the GMRS. I've got a GMRS mobile in
Hmm.
the EOC now, and it actually operates off a discount. I've got a discount that goes from, I think it's 50 megahertz to 1.2 gigahertz.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the large one, and I don't care if I haven't got any gain. And all I'm hitting is we've got a GMRS repeater now above Morgan Hill, which satisfies this whole valley for CERT.
Yeah. That's good.
But the problem is everybody's got independent nets and they do not play together. CERT
Yeah.
has their own net. We have our own ham radio nets.
Yes.
There's two other groups that have ham radio nets. So we have a strong um, uh, Mormon presence down here.
Mhm.
There's Latter-day Saints, and they've got a huge network, and they actually have three repeaters of their own to
Yeah.
talk among their different jurisdictions.
Are they GMRS?
No, they're not. They're 2 meter
Ham?
440.
Okay.
Yeah, they're ham. And I can't remember the guy's name that built them out before I moved, but he maintains them. Uh, but they use them heavily. They have their own nets, and so that's one of the things we're working on is to try and get just a little bit of crossbreeding here, particularly
Yeah.
the GMRS network to get those folks that are up on that to talk. Uh, we also have a problem. Our W6GGF VHF repeater, the frequency for it is used by three other organizations, two in the Central Valley, and one of them is at a high elevation looking, and it's broadcasting. It makes it over the hill to us, and Alameda has one on top of a hospital there, and of course they sit right on the water, like a huge ground plane, and it just blasts straight up into ours. And originally when we were talking to them and they were testing it out and asking us if we were getting interference, says, yeah, you're literally stepping on our net. I mean, they're broadcasting at full power at 50 watts. And I'm going, guys, you don't need it. You can get away with a 5-watt handheld and cover all of Alameda that you need to. I says, you're blowing everybody else away. And occasionally I get a guy up in Mendocino County who has a straight shot down into us that hits us on that repeater too. which is really bizarre. To talk to him, I haven't heard from him in about a year, but when he comes on, it's like, oh, hey, how you doing up there? So we've got a mess over here. You guys are lucky. You've got some hills surrounding you, and you don't have a lot of that. I mean, Monterey's communications hellhole anyway, with three sets of mountains you got to worry about
Right.
and valleys.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm blathering on here. Sorry, I'm keeping you guys beyond 11.
Yeah, we have one new GMRS repeater, and I don't think there's any others that I know of.
Not yet, but Jeff and Travis who put it up are going to put up a DMR repeater
Yeah.
in addition. That's a plan. It's still in the planning stage.
Oh, good.
Our GMS repeater is co-located with our VHF repeater,
Okay.
and our other repeater that we acquired from Bob Brenthal, the one up on Crystal Peak, our W6GGF UHF repeater. I mean, between that and those two, we've got pretty much bulletproof coverage down here, and we're still working on hardening the VHF repeater. It's up on a private property. A ham operator, one of our ham operators, lets us stay up there, but it's perfect down looking into our valley. It covers from one north end to the south end of the valley without any problem. So, but the GMRS works that's why we put the GMRS right with it, is because it's got the same overlook capability.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Well, that's all I have. So until next month, we'll plug away and keep going.
All right.
So
I'll get you Andreas's contact.
Yeah, and thank you all for showing up here. And then I'll see you next month, if not before. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.